Okay, so we're about to start working here with our dog Luca way down there on some leash reactivity. And Luca is new to doing the step back recall. So I'm here walking Dalton. We can see Luca's posturing, getting a little stiff. Yep, go ahead and give him his space. Perfect. And this technique is all about reading him, right? So we want to see when he starts to fixate, because there's a bit of a difference between just looking at another dog, right? And then really fixating and staring. So he's starting to fixate, go ahead. So what we're doing is, and sorry this is so far away, happens with reactivity when you're trying your best to work them under threshold here. So what we're doing is we're teaching him to make better decisions and actually learn to trust his owner, right? So learn to trust Maggie here. And so we want him to learn that Maggie can make good decisions on his behalf, and he doesn't always have to get so defensive to try to scare things away. He does come from a bit more of like a nervous profile here. So what happens here with this step back recall is we're getting him to a choice point and kind of that like close to a tipping point where he would normally make a bad decision, right? So we're kind of putting him in that scenario. I call that a choice point. And what goes on here is we want to show him that we can provide that space. So that one's too far, that we can provide that space. Okay. We want him to learn to trust us to make these decisions. And the better he gets this concept, the less reactive he's going to be in time. He's going to be looking to her to make those good decisions. Sorry, car pulling in here. All right, so we really want to watch here. Go ahead and do your decision now. So he's starting to load, and he actually does like a little bit of like a stalking, creeping motion to this. Be careful here because he wasn't really looking just yet.
Okay.
Go ahead now. And you can actually see he's getting a little bit softer in his face there. So, and this is a cool thing working with a demo dog like Dalton, right? So Dalton's almost 8, or I think he is 8 at this point. And he is just so low key. He's been this way for a very long time. So much softer there. And you can actually see he's looking over to the right, to my right. So what I actually want you to do, honor what he's telling you and walk him to the right.
Okay.
And this is a part of it. It's just called reading the dog. So seeing his cutoff cues. So when he's looking that far right, he's kind of asking you to go that way.
Yeah.
In this scenario. So go ahead and honor that. And same thing, like 10, 15 feet, go ahead and feed him. So we are throwing some food on the floor here. I know he's kind of blocked by the car, but we're throwing some food on the floor here. And we're doing that to really de-stress him, get some feel-good hormones going on, and just kind of take a little break from the moment. So, it's part of the reward, like getting the food, but the big like reinforcer here is the space. So let's watch his head. Let's see if he chooses a way to go. Go ahead and make that choice for him. And then have your leash at a 45 degree or so to turn his head so he's not just going straight back.
So
yeah.
He's not going straight back.
Yep. If he decides to look at you, feel free to pay him. I always tell people too, just be cognizant of how close you're getting, because perfect, great read. Because you can get some false positives, like he's looking up at you, it looks all good, but then all of a sudden you're like 5 feet away and it's bad. Go ahead and reward him there. And just pay a lot of attention to his head. There he sees Dalton off to the right. So yeah, like the first variation of this, like we were creating the cutoff cue for Luca. I almost kind of view that like getting the engine started for him, right? Getting like the car in motion, right? But you know, now we can see he's kind of learning that we're able to read him. So even better, if we can teach him to make his own decisions and we can honor that, that's great too. Help him on this one. Good call. So you can see there, right? Like his ears looked a little bit more relaxed, but then we see his face get a little bit tighter, and I think his head got a little bit lower there. So some dogs still get a little bit lower. Most they tend to raise their head, but some kind of get like this like stalking looking position going on. And then Luca actually does like a big freeze before he blows up. And hopefully we don't push him to a blow up here. That'll be part of our job. So he's looking again off to the right. I'm about to get ran over here. And we'll pause before that occurs. Okay, so right now we're crossing paths. You're good. We're gonna be crossing paths and we're working on some side switching. We do have some cars kind of oddly spaced in between us. Perfect side switch there. Now it would be spatial pressure to deal with him focusing. So if he focuses too hard on Dalton, you can do a little shh and then step into him, kind of create a bubble. Perfect. I'll have you reach the end of the lot, then we're gonna switch. And this will again be the side switching here.
Okay.
Go ahead and do it right here. So see how he's really lingering? There you go. And now you can govern that and use your square throttle if you need to with your spatial pressure. There you go.